Hey guys, how are you? We are here with a Twin Flame Collective reading, and a lot's come through as I was drawing these cards, and I realized that I wasn't filming, and so I really wanted to go over this and record it and really put it out there today because it's a lot of what we've been talking about, and a lot of clarity's come through from our guides and angels about the current state, and so. Again, take what resonates, but this is the current state that I'm seeing a lot of divine masculines currently be in. So what I noticed is that a lot of the tone around them, that their higher self basically wants to come through into the forefront of their consciousness, to have faith in their dreams, that at the moment they feel very empty here. And this is actually the card of my particular, my divine masculine is. And it's the card here, and it's come out, I think, in the previous reading as well that I posted, is like the world around them is moving, and they're sitting there in the middle, and they feel empty and in their heart space, and it's almost like they feel as though they're deeply longing for something. And so here above their mind or above their headspace is an inverted pyramid, a pyramid upside down, and what I'm getting from that is almost a things we've talked about the last couple of days with Enchanted World of Twin Flames, and just the general mind space is that it's almost like these thoughts are penetrating their mind, and it's upside down. And so what I'm getting is that it's like it's all consuming, like we said, but their third eye here, the third eye of the card is empty. Like there's nothing there where their pineal gland would be, and then there's just this inverted pyramid above. And what I'm getting is, like I said, the thoughts are being the looping thoughts regarding their lack of fulfillment in the divine feminine is really penetrating their mind, and it's to the point where they feel very empty in their heart space and even in their mind space in a lot of ways, because they are obsessing about the connection, but they also avoiding the things that they have to face upon the connection with the feminine. So here after that, at the bottom of the deck came the death card, and what I'm getting from this is that, so I asked the guides, why is the death card here? Because something about the way this death card came out in this reading, like I felt I understood clearly, but I wanted clarification. So then I drew why this death card is here, and so what came through is what's falling apart right now for them is then they got the Tower moment, the Eight of Swords, and the Seven of Swords. And so what I was getting is there's a lot of guilt, like a lot of confusion about what they've been doing to the divine feminine. There's also a lot of like here the other side is blinded, and I guess it usually is, but it came out in reverse, and it's what I'm getting here with the Eight of Swords come out in blindness, and what the guys are telling me and the angels is that it was willing blindness. They were willfully blind, and now they're really can't ignore the things that they've tried to be blind about. And here with the Seven of Swords is it's like they're trying to almost find the silver lining in a lot of what they've done. I'm also getting that for a lot of them, and I think for a lot of the divine feminines too, there's been some almost like a release of the intensity, and then there was like a surge the last couple of days. But so I pulled these out before these came out, and so a lot of the divine feminines have been seeing they're getting a lot of potential soulmates coming into the picture, and so on and so forth. So I'm getting that for the divine masculine, so it happened as well, because I pulled out the Queen of Cups, but it came out for clarity. I pulled out the Queen of Cups, and then came out with the Seven of Swords. So what I'm getting is that a lot of their potential soulmates from the past have came back through, and that's what I mean, the Queen of Cups. For this reading specifically, what really came out to me is that in this situation, the Queen of Cups is a soulmate kind of a character. So not so much a karmic, not so much someone that's been a burden to them, but rather a potential soulmate. But what I'm realizing is that we're with the resurgence of the potential soulmate is a strife, because you're going to realize that this soulmate connection is nowhere near as intense and fulfilling and powerful as a connection with the divine feminine. So the clarification here for the Eight of Swords came out the Nine of Swords, and here, and I love the Pashto for this reason, because a lot of times the way, to me, I feel like a special connection to it. It maybe because it was my first deck, but it tells me a lot of the things, because I feel like a lot of these divine masculines are like the good guy, and so they're very childlike. And something about the way, for me, this deck reads is very specific to this sector of the divine masculine that is always kind of been depicted as a good guy, and kind of feel bad for him, but he does like really terrible choices and continues to do so. And you see their higher self and their inner child, but they're still so caught up in an ego, but then the ego serves the longing that they've had as kids, versus maybe like a malicious ego. I mean, ego's always malicious to an extent, but it's or the shadow ego is malicious to an extent, but it's the ego that that just wants to figure it out. They just want to be happy, but they just don't know how. Maybe they've had a bad relationship with their parents. They never had a father figure. They never had a divine masculine figure in their life, but other sort of masculines, which is a symptom of a lot of the problems and challenges we have in America, period. So with that being said, I digress. So that's what I feel like the past show is really good at communicating to me regarding that specific sector of divine masculine. So what I'm getting here is remorse, and so the Nine of Swords then came out with the Devil in reverse here, which the past show says addiction, and then purpose, and the Hierophant came out. So what I'm getting is they're feeling remorseful about the way they've treated their divine feminine, and that they haven't been in their purpose towards their Hierophant. So they've been stuck in these addictive patterns, and I'm getting that for a lot of them is addiction to negativity, because the brain necessarily doesn't want to be happy. The brain wants to be, I believe the word is isotosis, but it doesn't want to change. So whether it's good or bad, depressed or happy or whatever, it's scared of change. So I'm getting here that for a lot of them, they're not just addicted to, alcoholism or workaholism or, prescription addictions. And again, take what resonates. But what I'm also getting is that addiction to turbulence and drama and chaotic environments in their personal life, as well as their work life. And so what I'm getting is that now this Nine of Swords, they're starting to really realize that what they've been serving is not only not fulfilling them, going back to his Null card, but it's not even the life they thought they wanted. Even in the 4 or 5D, like at this point, like those that have acquired like to some degree material success, it's starting to feel like it's starting to feel like it's at the expense of their heart space. So here, and this just kind of came through here, the Devil card is almost it has like like gold, but then it's falling apart, and then it has this duality. And so in a lot of ways that the divine feminine is a positive polarity, and the divine masculine is a masculine polarity, and that's what I'm really seeing come through here. And so it's almost been like this heart space and this love is being sacrificed for this duality state of being that maybe they thought served them, but now no longer doesn't. And they're longing here with the excuse me, let me so you guys can see this better. With the Nine of Swords here has been the fact that here that leads to the fact that they haven't been in their purpose, like the divine feminine is stepping into, is consuming them mentally, as well as the fact that they've suppressed and ignored their spirituality. Now they're realizing the longing, not just for divine feminine, but to come back to source, like come back to a place where they're connected. Because right now, no matter how much wealth and riches they might have, or illusion of such they might have in this 3D paradigm, they're realizing that they're not connected and they're not fulfilled and they're not happy. And so what's interesting is that the tower moment here, what I'm getting is that it's coming to a lot of their work environments, and it's almost like we are absorbing the abundance and successes that they are not only losing but also in the heart space. So even the people that they've been ill-intended with, so even the karmics that were ill-intended per se, or that were not for the greater good or not even for their good, we were even absorbing the things that maybe they even wanted to do or accomplish. So and that's something that's really coming through here. So I feel like they're really being challenged in the financial space and in the workspace. And I feel like for a lot of them, that will be sacrificed or they will lose that if they don't, by their own will and accord, choose to step into their divine power. But I'm also getting that a lot of the world around them is also ascending, and they're the ones almost holding on to their past or holding on to these paradigms. So I'm almost seeing that even their karmics or their soulmates or just their friends are almost trying to become even more awakened than they are. So I'm being guided to draw one of these cards because this is pertaining a 3D work environment. And so Source 5D and above, what wants to come through? The alignment of the feminine, the alignment of the masculine, the world around them. What is... So I'm getting this for the divine feminine and the world around them, because that's when this card wanted to come out. And so I'm getting that the world around them is really realizing that what the divine masculine has been subscribing to, even they don't want. So even maybe the people that have been supported by this or that have benefited from this chasing of the divine masculine, they almost don't even... They realize that they don't want that either. So for a lot of them, that even means their work environment. They're realizing that, you know, the things that their masculines are being pegged to, or they're being, you know, like if they're, you know, in team projects or they're leading groups or whatever, the people they're leading, they're realizing that they wouldn't want to trade lives with the divine masculine. What does that mean for those projects that they are leading? And so they're realizing that light and love is starting to almost surround the worlds around them except them. In the same respect, those paradigms are also falling apart. So they almost don't know what to make of this, because I'm getting that a lot of them are correlating light and love to their world falling apart, and it's almost like they believe they can only have one and not the other. And I'm also getting that that's why there's so much confusion, because their mind, there's a lot of duality in their mind. And so they almost feel like, I'm getting a lot of the divine masculines have been programmed to the fact that they can't really be happy. They have to work or do this or that or sacrifice one thing or another. And what's even coming to me is like, how much do we say that in our culture? It's like we glorify people sacrificing, you know, things in their heart space for their career motives. And you know, and what I'm getting is that, you know, it can be said that a lot of us have also sacrificed a lot to get to where we're at today. But what I'm getting is, it's almost like they've sacrificed things that they genuinely, that are coming from a heart space. So not even sacrifice things in the sense of, you know, time for going to school and pursuing their passion, but rather things that they don't even feel alignment with. And I feel like that's why this Nine of Swords is in a juxtaposition with their purpose, because they sacrifice things for material successes in spite of the fact that they knew it wasn't even their purpose. It would be one thing if it was, but they're realizing it wasn't even in their alignment. They just did it because they were told to do so, is what I'm getting. So with that being said, what is the divine masculine? And I noticed this Four of Swords actually was for some reason in reverse in the deck, and I pulled it out to put it face down with the rest of the cards, and then I realized that's what it was. So what is in their mind space now? Oh my God, is the wheel. So their mind space now is the Wheel of Fortune. Is and you know what's funny is the word that was coming to me before the card came out was juxtaposition, and I know I use that word a lot, but is that knowing that whatever this is that they've been pursuing, like happiness is not in that menu, and so they know that they've been chasing is leaving them empty-hearted, even if it means that they've had material successes. So, and the Wheel of Fortune here, I'm getting that they're in that space where, and we've pulled this card a lot before, where we're not sure what's gonna happen next. I feel like they're in a space where they almost don't care. I'm getting that it's a space near surrender, a space where it's almost like just whatever's supposed to happen. Like that's what I'm getting. And whatever's supposed to happen is going to happen. And then the Two of Pentacles came out. So it's interesting because in this Two of Pentacles, he's standing on an infinity sign, which to me represents infinite love and connection to source and their divine feminine. And it's interesting that it came out right after I said that, because then he's holding two coins or two pentacles at opposite ends, like the same juxtaposition that the Devil card had. And it's almost like a sign of, how I said like they're near surrender, a sign before that where they're almost like, I don't care which way it falls, but whatever's supposed to happen, throw it up in the air, and whatever. It's almost like flipping a coin. Like whatever's meant to happen is going to happen, even though there's not a spirituality attached to. That's why I don't say it's not quite surrender yet. So there's not much spirituality attached to whatever's supposed to happen happens in their mind, but it's almost like flipping a coin. Like like I at this point like throw my hands up is what I was getting, and I don't care. So I'm getting that there's more disattachment to what they've been chasing this whole time. And so, sorry, what's also coming to me is that for a lot of divine feminines, the more you step into your power, it's almost showing them that you can be in your alignment and be fulfilled and be happy and be in your power. And that's something that, like I said, they weren't sure if it was possible. And so here what I realized, the High Priestess at the bottom of the deck, and it kind of came out, but then I just said in the bottom, and that the High Priestess here, what I'm getting is it's almost I know different people interpret the High Priestess a few different ways. What I'm getting here is that it represents the Empress in her divine power, alignments, and mission. And seeing that, because what's interesting here is she's also having almost like almost what seems like a juxtaposition, but then the light is in the middle, and it's almost like it's merging them together. So it's almost like they're watching her step into their alignment and leading by example that you can have it all, because the divine wants you to have it all, but it also wants you to fulfill your soul missions, your soul contracts, and to overcome. What I'm getting from this too is that we come into this earth, and this is just, I believe this, and then the moon cards at the bottom of the deck again, like it was in the past tarot, is that and again, I follow Kabbalah a lot, and so in Kabbalah they say that we come to this earth and like we choose our parents, we choose the zip code, and the example he gives, he says, we come, maybe you choose to come to, be born in Beverly Hills with wealthy parents because our soul, that's what our soul needs to, that's a perfect environment for our soul to manifest and transcend what it's supposed to elevate to the next dimension or frequency. And so, that soul might need to overcome, the feeling of parental absence and connection to source and so on and so forth. So what I'm getting is the divine wants us to have everything upon completion or transitioning or transmutation of our divine mission and purpose, and then us to have it all. But they've been avoiding that. And so, in Kabbalah, they also always say that, that we come to this earth so that we can remember, we forget everything when we come here, right? And I feel like most practices say that. And so what I'm getting is that there's a point where you're going to push towards your mission and power and guidance, mercifully or not. And so they've been avoiding healing those things that the soul needs to overcome with all these 3D paradigms. And so because a part of them, and this is what's coming to me, a part of them felt that like those things, society told them that they needed to suppress and overcome them to be successful. And they're realizing that that's where their power is now, because the divine feminine in her high priestess, watching her overcome this. And I'm getting that a lot of them, they were watching the divine feminine go through this excruciating pain and dark night of the soul, and they were, even if they loved us, they were like, I don't want to go through that, and if this love means that, I don't want it. And so what they're realizing is that this is almost the point where we remembered we knew everything, and the answer within us, and it's almost like we came back to source, and we remember the things that we forgot when we came to this plane and paradigm. And they're seeing that that's where the power is, and that they can have everything by healing those things that they were told should be suppressed for their success. And so that's what they're really introspecting now, and that's kind of where they threw their hands up in the air, and they're in that juxtaposition. So here the Ace of Pentacles just came out, and I wanted to move on, and here's the Four of Swords again. What I'm getting here is the Four of Swords, and then the King of Pentacles, is that they're realizing that, the divine feminine is coming into her Ace of Pentacles. And what I mean by that, and what's coming through with that, is that she's getting her pentacles in her alignment, in unity, and in state of source. And there is no duality in source. That soul is source. It is, there is no duality, is the connection to the divine. And so what I'm getting is that the Ace of Pentacles here is not only a new start that they're considering, and a new state of being for the divine feminine, but also that we are returning to this soul mission, and we will be rewarded with the Ace of Pentacles, and we will be rewarded with our pentacles for coming into our mission of source. And they're seeing that, there is still financial gain and pleasures of the 3D paradigm and being in your alignment. And it comes with fulfillment too. So it's almost like you can't have it all. And now they're realizing that there's a part of them, there's a part of them that's really starting to realize, and that's why this Four of Swords came out here with the King of Pentacles, is they're starting to realize or consider or ponder on the fact that they can have it all as the King of Pentacles and be in their alignment and be in their soul calling, and merging with their inner child and higher self can still bring them the King of Pentacles and have, everything. And what's interesting that's just coming through me here with the King of Pentacles is that you see here the pentacle, and it's almost like coming from, there's a rope here, and out of that rope is coming the King of Pentacles. That's I'm also getting like Hierophant energy, like, he's almost like a king here with, sitting on a throne, and it's like, but it's connected to source. And that's what I'm seeing. And I feel like it came in reverse because they are in this Four of Swords, and they're starting to, it's like the face of knowing, like you don't know that you don't know, and then you know that you know. and then they're starting to that, they're coming to understand that like now they kind of know that they know, and they're trying to make sense of it here with the Four of Swords. So where is the divine masculine in the heart space towards the divine feminine? So divine source, higher power, ascended masters, please give us some insight as to what the divine feminine should expect here with their heart space, or the divine feminine. So okay, so the Eight of Wands, the Starman, and the Star. So I think this is interesting. So here for the Eight of Wands in reverse, what I'm getting is what I'm getting here, the reason that's in reverse and what's coming to me here really strongly is that in this Eight of Wands, because remember it came out in reverse, so it came out like this. So what I'm getting here is that they're in the fork in the road of transcending and leaving those 3D attachments that they've been subscribed to go towards source being and source energy and the divine feminine in the heart space. I'm also being guided to reach for this depiction of the Eight of Wands here. And I'm not sure why. I think this is the book's partly open, but it does go into transformation is what it says, and spirituality and transcending transmutation. But it is in reverse because they haven't made up their mind yet. But what's coming here in the heart space is that they're starting to see that on the other side of that, whereas so before they weren't sure, they were just scared, they're starting to see that on the other side of that is what I'm getting here with the Starman is that it's everything they wanted. It's that they can, and here's interesting about this, the way these cards came out, is that it's the same theme of like ascension here, and then the star with the divine feminine, and it's very much the ascending process. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's the Starman leaving, ascending, to this, ascending from this paradigm, what seems to be like the 3D, into this higher vibration, higher realm, the heart space. You see, the Starman with the star in the heart chakra, like in the heart and throat space. So I'm also getting like, starting to find ways to communicate that. And then here leading to the star, which is the divine feminine, it's almost like somewhat like a flower of life. So like an infinite like abundance and happiness is at the other side, should they choose to take that leap of faith. Leap of faith is what I'm getting. Is there anything we can do energetically, spiritually, in our heart space, in our mind space, to help them maybe come closer to source in a selfless manner and from a place of unconditional love, to help them ascend and transcend this? Is there anything that the angels want to say? So this is interesting because I don't know why it came to my head was the God box from last reading that we did towards the end, from like yesterday, 2 days ago. But what came here is the earth angels, is you are a light worker that's come here to teach about love. So what I'm getting here is that the more, kind of what I said before, where the more we step into alignment as earth angels and light workers, the more it'll activate them, because they are the same soul in a different body. So they are, they are the opposite polarity of the light polarity of the divine feminine polarity. But the more we step into our heart space and our light work and our mission, the closer to self-unity. And I'm also getting that the mastery, the execution, the manifestation that the divine feminine comes into in her power, the more, as it comes to self-unity with the divine masculine, the more they will be triggered to find that heart space as the offset of one soul in two bodies. And I was guided for some reason. I just picked up this deck. So I feel like there's a message in here. So source, higher being, 5D and above. Is there a message in here regarding Earth Angel and the Divine Feminine, and regarding towards the Divine Masculine, or what's on the Divine Masculine's mind is what came here, is the Prince of Wands, and here we got a Six of Swords as Ascension. So what I'm getting here is that they are starting to envision these things. They're starting to almost sprint towards that. As we lose attachment to that all-consuming longing, they are starting to want to sprint towards us in that heart space and in that passion. And they're starting to, it's almost like that masculinity, that beginning testosterone, like if that ambition gets manifested towards the light, and it's bountiful and endless, which is fulfillment in everything they've ever wanted. And you can see here, it's almost like a sprinting forward towards a light that they are holding, that they're almost manifesting, like manifesting that own light in their life and running towards that. That's what I'm getting as we move towards our Earth Angel mission. That's what I feel like is being activated within the Divine Masculine. So where is the Divine Masculine? Oh, I feel like one more card I wanted to pull out of here. So interesting, is 7-7, the 7 of this and the 7 of Wands. And so, but when it fell out in reverse. So I'm just gonna take it both ways, actually, and you'll see what I mean by that. So what came out is that here with the 7 of Pentacles is investments and resignation. So it's almost like letting go of the things that no longer serve them, but in their mind it seems more like resignation. So for a lot of them, it might be leaving a job, or something very 3D. It could be a role, a title, something of that nature, leaving that they've maybe invested time and energy into, that no longer serves them, but also then investing that. And what I'm getting here is that, you know, this 7 of Pentacles is barren, right? But then there's this one rose that's green, ironically. And what the reason I say ironically is because what I'm getting is the investment into the heart chakra, the heart space. The heart chakra is what they're now willing to put their investment into, with that in the forefront of their mind. And as I'm saying this, I'm saying that it's 33 minutes 13, and finding the courage here with the 7 of Wands to do that, because they've been the opposite of courageous when it comes to their heart space. They've been avoiding and they've been running, and now they're finding the courage to do so, to follow that here. And I'm getting that also too, when I said that too, it was 33, and that I'm getting that the heart unity, the divine masculine, divine feminine, inner masculine, inner feminine, and then the unity of all. The unity of all four, the divine feminine's masculine, feminine, self-union, divine masculine, masculine, feminine, and self-union, and then the ultimate union between those. So I'm being guided to pull one more card from here. And if you haven't seen my previous video from 2 days ago, I highly encourage that if you don't want to watch the whole thing, just watch towards the end where I felt like that God box card wanted to come out, and it did right after that. It was almost towards the very end. And in that meditation that to help them and to help the divine help them come through, the parents card came out. So what I'm getting here, and that's been a lot on my mind for some reason, but what I'm getting is, and I'll just read the card. The divine truth is that parents eternally love you to the best of their ability. The angels are helping you heal from any pain associated with your mother and father. So this is actually really strong because, well, on its own, but what I'm also getting is that, you know, a lot of them have been through a lot of pain with their parents, and a couple of in here I was saying how um, they've been told that success and love and whatever looks a certain way, and they're realizing that that doesn't. But I also spoke about how, actually, at the top of the reading, how we are born into this world in a circumstance that when I talked about people that need to maybe deal with parental unavailability and abandonment. As for our source of here, and I don't think it's a coincidence that then towards the closing of this, or the parent card came out. So what I'm getting is that a lot of them have been through a lot of parental trauma, and they've been very hurt by their parents, and it's almost traumatized them in a lot of ways. And so they're starting to see that I'm getting that the world is not as dark, and their parents were not particularly malicious. And don't get me wrong, a lot of them I understand, because I'm feeling a lot of, like Colette was saying, like none of the parents were. A lot of them, they were, but they're starting to see the light in their experience and how it's made them who they are, for better or worse. And if they don't like who they are today, then they can change that. But how their parents, to whatever degree, got them to the point they are today. And if there's been parental trauma, do they want to hold on to those depictions of success or whatever that was instilled in them? And whatever, I'm getting, this just came through, I'm getting that whatever they built out of those traumas, is that what they want to hold on to, because it's predicated and being built on traumas that they've had. And so they're realizing that whether you like them or don't like them, or feel whatever way towards them, you're realizing that it was there was a reason for that. And if you don't like it, then why are you following the things that they've subscribed to you? And if you do find gratefulness in the way that your parents are saying, I'm getting for the divine masculine, this is very much not the case, but for those that maybe do, then what are the aspects that you do like about them, and are you aligned to those right now? And so I'm getting that they're very much reflecting on that. And so now I'm being guided as to where they are in their proactive space. And the reason I say that is not so much a heart space, not so much their mind space, but what are they contemplating on doing or moving towards the divine feminine in the next couple of months or weeks. And this is, again, and I've said this since I think the beginning of the channel, this is for this final quarter of the year, because that's kind of how the masculine looks at things in a lot of ways, depending on their roles. But what is their current mental and heart space? What is that leading towards in action and proactivity towards the divine feminine, as they come to these realizations and conclusions? What is it that they want to manifest with the divine feminine? What is it that they're moving to? What is, from source to me, what does the collective need to hear about what actions the divine masculine might take towards her, or towards their love life or romantic partnership, if it is supposed to be with their twin? Is there, okay, I guess so. So interesting, because I feel like a lot of times we're very biased towards wanting to speak about union and lead towards union and want to make it about union. And so I feel like a lot of times we're predisposed to calling it early, or to very much be focused on that. But I'm getting that this is very much brewing. So the cards that come out are engagement, wedding, past life relationships, you deserve love very soon. So as I was pulling this card, I was contemplating on what the divine masculine is feeling towards the divine feminine in a proactive sense of action, and what are they in the brink of doing towards the divine feminine. So what I'm getting from this is that your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment. So I'm getting that the divine masculine, and I hate saying this, but this is what I'm getting, will at least give you crumbs of letting you know, because a lot of these divine masculine are scared of any kind of real commitment that is not predicated on crap, per se, that's not predicated on the reason why they have so much messiness going on and so much drama is because they're scared of linear commitment. They're scared of having to be tied down. They're scared of stepping into that hierophant being. So they don't want to commit. They almost want to have the other options open. So they're going to express that you are what they want to move to. And for a lot of them, for a lot of you guys, I am seeing wedding. So I feel like this is maybe for maybe for like 1 or 2 people, maybe a few more. I should say 1 or 2% of the viewers that are a little bit further along. And I'm also getting that their masculine is further along in the communication space. So there is activity going on there, and it seems to be linear and proactive. There is wedding talks or plans coming here in the final quarter of when you're watching this. And again, these readings are timeless, so if you're watching this later, if you're watching in February, whatever the end of the quarter is. But right now, as we are today into December, I'm getting that, because I'm getting that they've realized that this is I'm getting 2 things actually from past life relationship. I'm getting that they've realized the twin flame and like the love and connection they have with their twin flame or the divine feminine, their divine counterpart. And they're also realizing that this soulmate that possibly may have come through them or to us is a past life relationship, but it's not their twin flame. And they've realized that they've maybe known each other before, but it's not this twin flame connection. For those of you guys who are meant to be in union with their twin flame. And so they're coming to realize that they themselves deserve love. The soulmate deserves a love like this twin flame, like a love. That's not them. The divine feminine deserves love, as do they. And so moving towards that, and then circling back to engagement and wedding, and realizing that they are worthy. Kind of when we went back to like the Ace of Pentacles, they're worthy of having everything they wanted, and they deserve it. And part of the reason they've gone through all this trauma is to get them to a place to realize that that the divine wants them to have everything, but also wants them to be in their alignment and to be in their mission and to heal the things that they've been running from. We did a meditation in the reading 2 days ago or so, and I feel like we're seeing that almost take place here. Last night my heart was fluttering, and it was this morning as well, like this. And I wanted to do a reading, but then I was getting not to just enjoy the fluttering heart space that I was in. And I don't know if a lot of feminines resonate with that, or any of you guys, but it's almost like I'm seeing that meditation is really the divine is coming to aid in the clarity that came with the God box that we created, and that we surrender. We essentially surrender to the divine. And a lot of us feminines, and I'm actually getting one more card from each one of these decks, which is interesting. But a lot of what the divine feminines have done, it's almost they've almost realized, and it's almost like we were guided to, in some way, shape, or form, even subconsciously, let them know, or that the Hierophant card, again, that we've not so much like we've let the longing go, and that we generally do want what's best for them and us, and step into whatever's meant to be. And it's not even so much about the longing anymore. And I think, as a lot of divine masculines have realized, that it's not that we don't love them anymore, is the fact that like we've surrendered, like wholeheartedly actually surrendered to whatever's meant to be and meant to happen. And we want to ultimately be with who we're meant to be, whether or not that's our twin flame. And that's just the truth. I think that's where a lot of the feminines are at. And so we've communicated that, and know not even on purpose or to try to upset them or to prove a point, but rather, subconsciously, like maybe in something we said in social media, or something we said to them, or maybe something we've posted, or those that are kind of following us very strongly, they're realizing that that's that we just want them to be happy, or we just want to be happy. And it's not about this cat and mouse chase that's been predicated, honestly, in a lot of the 3D paradigm. And I said that I was 444 because union, as with the white picket fence, is not just them subscribing to us, and to some degree it was also us subscribing to that narrative, and they're realizing that now we're just in this sun, the most positive energy of the deck, the most positive card of the deck, and we just want not this cat and mouse, like, you know, karmic union, you know, be with me and drive off into the sunset, but rather being in our alignments and mission being the priority and the most important thing. And they've realized that a lot of the reason we've been chasing is because we've known it was them all along, not because of some obsession that I think a lot of them wanted to depict, a stalker energy, obsession energy. And they're realizing, like, no, we love them, but it's not like they're not a trophy to us. Like, we want what we know is real and what we know is there. Whereas, so they interpret that for a lot of them as like a cat and mouse, like treasure prize for them. And they're realizing that this was love. And so, Angel of Sky here came out, which is essentially that protection. It's almost like the gatekeeper between the higher realms and the other paradigms. And so they're realizing, what I'm getting from this is that the only thing, okay, from source through me, that the only thing that's been keeping them tied down to a place of not love and unconditional love, or a place where they don't have everything, is their own shadow ego depictions of what certain things are supposed to look like. So they're realizing now that they can't have it all and union with the divine feminine. I also want to say, we've all also realized that this is more than about union. It's about self-union, unconditional love, and being in our power. So it's like coming to that realization, or coming to not just within ourselves, but then realizing that we've come to that realization and trying to make sense of it, still with, you know, the purple pill, where they took half the red, half the blue, and they're kind of stuck in some illusionary wonderland. They're realizing that it's a choice that they've been stuck there. And that, and for some reason when I said that, I put too many cards. And that we don't subscribe to that anymore. And so, oh my God, so this card came out also last time, is endurance, and finding the endurance to propel forward in their alignment and in their mission, and letting go of things that no longer serve them, and finding that endurance to keep going within themselves. So with that being said, guys, I feel like there's one more thing that wants to come out. Well, I feel like there's a lot of things that still want to come out, but it's already going into a long reading. So actually, let me know in the comments below if you are okay with the longer readings, and just, or if you would rather just cut it. And I guess if you do, you can just click out of the video, right? I'm sorry, that's what kind of the angels and art, I just kind of said that. I feel like this in some way gives you plenty to take in, but if you're still guided to keep watching, then feel free to do so. I know that one or two parts wants to come out of here. That's what I was feeling. So children. So your life's purpose involves helping, teaching, and healing children. So I'm getting that for a lot of them is turning their purpose into pain here, with the parent card and the children card, and realizing that the things they've been through, they can help others heal with. And it's almost finding the divine purpose for that pain. And through this journey that they have to go through the dark night of the soul, they will be able to connect with that, and then show a lot of the kids the light at the end of the tunnel, whether they're spiritual teachers, or, you know, volunteer work, or healing work, or, you know, even just digital, like online. I'm also getting like developers of like kids games, or something like that, like developing something like a card game or like a something like that. I'm getting that maybe some of you guys just have their divine masculines have thought about it, but we're almost too shy to say that, or they almost felt like that wasn't like what was supposed to, that wasn't like like 3D ego man enough or something like that, and they're realizing that like no, that is your calling. An interesting thing that happened too here is that your commitment is being tested and new start is coming. So I think it goes back to that juxtaposition that we've been to in a while, but now what I'm getting here is for the divine feminine, the commitment is being tested to self and to, I know that the masculine and our depiction of them is a symptom of how we feel within or how we look at that in a lot of ways. And so I'm getting that our commitment is being tested because and it goes back to intention. If we choose to go to a soulmate connection because we just want to just be with someone or escape or not deal with some of the final stages of this longing, that's being tested. And again, I feel like you're very much allowed to be with a soulmate. You're allowed to be happy. You're allowed to come into this paradigm to experience unconditional love and happiness. But this is about intent. And your commitment on being to yourself is being tested. And therefore, to your divine masculine, and a new start is coming. And again, I think this goes back to what I'm getting here is this goes back to the propensity in which you commit to yourself, that the new start is coming, because I feel like this could mean two things. A new start is coming with this, for some of you, with the soulmate that you're allowed to be happy with and experience that level of unconditional love, or just love and experience just joy and whatever, experience the 3D as it is. For the other sector, the commitment to self is being tested, and therefore the divine masculine, and predicated on this, and you start coming with whether you want the soulmate, and just plug back into somewhat of a I want to say happy, like not. I don't feel like it's settling or complacency. I feel like you'll be happy. Will you be like in bliss and like in the just love of the twin flame and that intensity? No, but it's almost like, do you have to be? And that's kind of a choice that you have to make. And that's what I'm getting with the commitment being tested. And with the new start is coming, that based on how you choose this and the propensity in which you commit to this is for the soulmate. If you meet them and that's your choice, the new start of I'm getting commitment would be coming with that, and being taken a lot more seriously, and almost having a happy, soulful, still divine love. I am getting soulmate with this. For those of you that choose the twin flame path, it's almost like the very last straw that you are guided to. I'm not saying hold on to anything toxic or keep going when you're not being guided to or whatever. That timeline within yourself that you're just like, you know what? Oh, I'm eating two things actually. In that moment, you might let it might circle back to your twin realizing that you're here in the sun space, and then reach out to you in a more serious manner, and that will be the new start that's coming here. Or because it's about choice and free will. There's some of you in twin flames that you feel are in divine will, and if you are, then you're divinely guided, and this is not particularly for you. But if you are in that free will stage, and you decide, and you're like, you know what, like a free will, but also operating in unconditional love, as you kind of move into your mission, but also as your twin realizes that he knows that you are in your alignment with or without them, they will spearhead towards you with the new start coming. Going back to this, so what I'm getting here is a lot of what's going on with the divine masculine, and a lot of what I feel like maybe a lot of you guys, or we all kind of wanted to know when we watch a lot of these videos, is like kind of what they will be proactive towards. But then it's also coming to the free will of the divine feminine and divine will of the divine feminine, and a reminder that this is ultimately about you, and your self union and their own self union above anything else. So I feel like one more card wants to come out of here, and I'm in like a New begin. I don't know. So if there's a card that wants to come out of here, is Uriel the Angel of Flame. So this is a classic divine masculine card that's been coming out a lot ever since I started reading. That's always kind of been like, to me, like in a lot of ways, like this sort of masculine, like withering away, because this card really talks about just being in that longing. But I feel like in a lot of ways, like the masculine interpretation of the longing, where they're just all consumed, but wither away in consumption, wanting to move around in the 3D paradigm to forget, but they really can't, so they're just withering in desire. That's really what this speaks about. Why did this card come out right now with the new they're withering in desire? There's something that wants to come through that's holding them back. I feel like one more card out of here would give us some clarity. Ooh. And we got here the Angel of Wisdom and the Angel of Vision. Part of them, you know what's so funny? The president said that he was something about being very wise, which is, take what you will with that statement. However, what I'm getting here with the wisdom card is that they're wondering if it's the wise thing to do. I'm getting interesting. I'm almost getting like they feel, some of them feel the torturous feeling of not being with the feminine is like deserved, and that it's like almost what they have to sacrifice to, ew. So I'm getting that a lot of the sort of masculine is feeling that they almost have to sacrifice this love to be happy in the 3 and 4D paradigm. In the same respect, I mean, they're getting the vision that that's not the case, and they're starting to come to that understanding. The Angel of Visions, I'm being guided to just read it from the book. The shepherd of the good graces, the shining light in the distance, that beckoning us forward into the future. The green pastures beyond the next hill are hard to see. Rumila Shore says that things will get better. It whispers something is coming and it's beautiful. Keep pushing towards the horizon, towards the setting sun. As the light fades, you feel as if someone is watching you. Far into the distance, you see a long figure walking, a dove in its shoulder. You stop for a moment to marvel at its vision. When you move again, it's gone. You hear a flutter of feathers and a dove lands graceful on your shoulder. A cane, a rising sun, and a white dove. So, okay. So what I'm getting here is that the clarity is coming that the sun space that the divine feminine is in is that figure in the distance that they want to admire and move towards, but they almost felt like some of them feel like they couldn't because I'm getting that a lot of them are almost as, and I mean, I hope nobody's offended by this, but they're almost as dramatic as sometimes we have the tendency to be, but like in a torturous, self-aggrandizing way, in the sense of like, you know, it's almost like the good guy, distorted God complex of like, I must be in suffering to continue this, to make this 3 and 4D path feel better. Like I must forfeit this for the greater good. And it's like, no, absolutely not. And they're realizing like the sun and that figure doesn't have to disappear. like it's already come. I'm getting that it's almost like divine feminine already came into their life, and it doesn't have to leave. Otherwise, they wouldn't have never seen it. So this actually doesn't make sense. And so they're almost letting go of this like martyring, self-torturing pain that they feel like they deserve. Because I'm getting that a lot of masculine and the men are instilled with this feeling that they should like work and provide and so on and so forth, and it's not about them being happy or love or anything like that. It's almost like they feel like they're like society told them that they're cattle and I'm getting a lot actually, that they're being, that was part of the plug into the matrix is not letting the divine masculine tap into his feminine power, because in the feminine power the system of distorted capitalism could collapse. So it's almost plugging them into this ideology that they must be working tirelessly and in pain and never fully happy or in love, and that's where they die earlier, because they've been led and brainwashed to believe such. But now they're getting the vision that that's not the case here, that's what the divine feminine brought to them, and that's what they're seeing here with all the transgression of the divine feminine, is like that this is a choice, and the divine didn't design it that way. Elite past controlling dark paradigms, darker vibrational energies that hijacked the narrative of this country, which to me is America, and distorted capitalism. That's what convinced them that they have to be here, but they can have it all. And that's what we're starting to show them as we are in our divine power, because I'm getting also the reason a lot of the ascended masters are male is because is the male or the divine masculine that needs to do a lot of the work here in this paradigm, and we're just here to assist. And they're seeing that their strength is in their divine femininity balance, destroying the false masculine ego shadow depiction of power and identity and validation. And they're seeing here that with the divine with the divine angel of visions. So what I'm seeing, what I'm getting, like what next is an appropriate question. I usually don't ask about really the future, but rather the energies that are present for them that they're seeing in the future. But I'm getting the what now kind of I'm getting what now, and for some reason I'm being drawn to the angel visions deck for what now, which is a little odd. So typing above, why are we being guided to draw from this? Emotional sensitivity and heal away addictions. Oh, I see. This is almost the beginning of their healing process, and the being okay with finding the strength in their emotional sensitivity and how to communicate that. Honor and respect your deep sensitivities to give to us all. That makes so much sense. So what now is they're starting to honor and respect their deep sensitivity, which then makes sense because that's what's going to get them to this point. And they're starting to find the strength in their vulnerability, and that's ultimately the ultimate strength is in our vulnerability, because that is almost like the compass that's telling us where our divine mission is. And as we heal that, we transmutate that, we can then help others who are in a similar space and then ascend the consciousness of all. So as they're doing that and they're healing away, time to let go of behaviors that are blocking you from your heart's desire. Ask Archangel Raphael to help you with this healing. Oh my God. So that's amazing. So you know how at the very beginning of this reading, I said, we're going to, this came out, the devil card here came out with the thing keeping them from the Hierophant space was addictions. And I was like, well, take what resonates. And when I talked about addiction to drama and chaos, they're finding their emotional sensitivity, they're reconnecting to their inner child and higher self, simultaneously healing away these addictions that kept them in this devil energy of alcoholism, drama, triangulation, narcissism, OCD, all those things. And so as they connect to this, they're simultaneously healing away this, which is why I'm seeing here a little bit of a lagging turnaround. But is there anything we can do? So I'm being guided to let you guys know that we can help with this by calling in Archangel Michael. with some of the maybe Archangel Michael meditation sounds or videos, you know, and just ask him to assist us, because, you know, it almost, what I'm getting is almost like the biblical phrase is like, asking you shall receive. It's like, you know, the angels and divine can help us, but sometimes we just need to ask our Archangel Raphael, or, you know, we need to ask for the help and for the guidance and for the clarity. And you know, sometimes just knowing the energies and how to communicate that, it's like, it's not necessarily not enough, but, you know, part of honing in all of our power is knowing the powers that we don't have and what we do need help with. And in this case, I think calling in Archangel Michael and Raphael, I was going to say Michael as well for some reason, can help us help them, and the divine help us, and calling that in. Getting one more card. If one more card wants to come through. Throat chakra and release. So the angels are helping you lovingly speak your truth. So I'm getting that, you know, when you speak your truth, especially regarding your divine masculine at this point, and again, this is maybe not the easiest thing, but try to speak from a place of loving and not hate and anguish or anger, which is hard. I'm not gonna say that it isn't, you know, especially where you are in your mission. And I'm also seeing that it highlights a lot of the Uriel, the angel of flame, and why that came out. The colors are very similar here. In fact, on the video, you almost can't tell the difference. But I'm getting that part of their withering and desire will be the ability to start communicating their emotional sensitivity in the context of this, which is the foundation of the rest of these cards. They're gonna find a way in as they reach their emotional sensitivity to communicate that with their throat chakra. And I said I was guided to bring up Archangel Michael, and I wasn't sure why. So work with Archangel Michael to let go of the things that no longer serve your purpose. So part of the emotional sensitivity is being in the place of love and in our divine mission. It's not anger or hate or communicating that. So that's why I feel like the what we communicate in that needs to be coming from a place of love. And to assist us with that, Archangel Michael, with your permission, would like to come through and help you with that and letting go of that which no longer serves you. I'm also getting that the equivalent of the emotional sensitivity for them and tapping into that, the equivalency for a lot of the divine feminine is to let go of the longingness and those kinds of things that no longer serve us, because here is in the context of your purpose, which the divine masculine activated us, but in union will come. But letting go of that which doesn't serve us for our purpose usually needs to come first for the divine union to transpire. So with that being said, guys, the only other thing I want to say is go back and watch maybe like the last 5 minutes of my last video for today's, if this resonates with you, because it goes over the detail of the God box, which I can't pull it now because it's being taken up by the actual God box. So with that being said, guys, love and light, and I will see you guys next time. I hope that was helpful. If you liked this reading, comment, like, subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.